Hello everybody and welcome to another fly tying session with your host Scott. In this session I'm going to show you how to tie a basic wet fly hackle. So we've got the body done. This is a pattern called the red and black holographic spider that we're tying here, and I've got to the point where I need to put the hackle in and finish the fly. So this one's on a size 12 hook, and so we're going to need a hackle feather that's the appropriate size for the fly. And to do that, normally this is your cape. It is best to get a cape because you get various shapes and sizes of feather. This, where my finger is the head end, and this moves on down towards the tail of the bird. And as you move down the body, the feathers get longer, and they also have longer barbs or longer fibres. And the ones that are towards the head are normally your size 16, 14, 12 and then 10 in this sort of region as you go down. But the best way to find out if you've got a feather the right size is to tease the barbs back like so and offer it up to the shank of the hook, and that'll give you an idea of how long the barbs will be once it's wound, and that looks about right to me. Also, to prepare the feather for winding, you want to get rid of this stuff here by just pinching and pulling against the grain, as it were, so that it exposes the stalk. And then we're going to tie in the feather by that stalk using several tight turns. And you can also use this part of the process to even up where you want the hackle to be wound. So leaving the thread quite close to the eye, trim away, and the idea is we're going to wind the hackle around the shank of the hook towards the eye with touching turns. And to wind it, you're going to need a tool to do so. Now there's two tools that you can use to do this. This is the traditional way of doing it. This is a traditional English hackle plier, and you grab the tip of the feather between the jaws like so and wind it with that. My preferred tool is one of these. This one's a hackle plier set by Stonfo, and it uses a notch in the tool which you expose by pulling back on it and then let go, and it grabs the tip of the feather like so. I find this breaks a lot less feathers than the English ones, and they grip better as well. But that's just personal preference. You use whatever you've got. So your thread goes that way, so towards you. I'm going to wind the hackle the other way. So if you were looking down the shank of the hook, it would be anti-clockwise. And you want, that's one turn, you want 3 turns for a wet fly hackle. That's my preferred. You can put as many in or as little as you like, especially if the fish are quite spooky. You might want hackles that are less they've got less fibres in them, so more lightly dressed. So once you get to this point, you want to hold the hackle fibre roughly 90 degrees above the top of the hook, and you want to bring your thread over and behind the feather. And you want to do that about at least a full turn before you can move out to 90 degrees, or roughly 90 degrees. That stops you catching too many fibres in, and then finish off like so. And then what you're going to do, once you've got your hackle wound and locked in, is you're going to trim off the excess like so with a very good pair of scissors. Then you want to get your hackle between finger and thumb. That exposes the eye so that you can tie your head. So you want to go to the eye and wind back to create your head. And you can keep going backwards and forth, back and forth if you need to, just to get the shape right. There we go. and then you finish off using your preferred method. Now my preferred method is to whip finish. I have shown this in another video, but we might as well show you here anyway as well. So you get your thread. I'm doing it in a plane so that you guys can see it. You're going to bring this is a Mattarelli or Martelli style whip finish tool. You're going to bring the hook down onto the thread. You bring the thread over the top on the other part of the tool there, and then you're going to twist and create a number 4. And you want to keep the thread that's going to the bobbin in the same plane as the shank of the hook. And you're going to do 3 turns and try and maintain that right angle by giving it slack from the bobbin. And you're going to unclip it from that part by my knuckle, and then you're going to pull tight so that you bring the hook up to the eye and then release the hook. The idea with a wet fly hackle is you want it so it's slightly swept back towards the tail of the fly. There's no tail on this fly, but towards the back of the fly, so it's sort of just swept back a bit like an umbrella, I suppose. With a dry fly hackle, you put more turns in, it'd be more dense, and you'd push it forward like so. That's how you tie a dry fly hackle, but I'll do that in a separate video as well and show you how to do that properly. Thank you all very much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye for now.